We are live. Okay, so this is You've Got Questions, We've Got Answers, and we're going to go live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, Brooke.
I love
So
it.
if you're,
So excited.
I know it's so good, right?
Yes.
So anyone who hasn't been here before, the format is you put your questions in the chat and we answer those live as quickly as we can. I am Darby.
And I'm Brooke.
And this is called You've Got Questions.
We've got answers.
I know. Sometimes I make you say it and sometimes I don't.
I know. I try to be ready. But
like, I don't know.
Is it me? Is it you? I don't know.
Well, I figure if you're like busy trying to like reset or take a drink of water, I'll say it. But yeah, if you've got a question, we want to answer it. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So just put your question in the chat on the platform you're in, and I'll pull it up on the screen as quickly as I can. Questions can take about 10 minutes to answer once we get going. Hello, Stella.
Hi.
It's good to see you. We just love answering everybody's questions, so we'll try to answer these as quickly as we can. I know that classes start pretty soon, Brooke, so I'll have you talk about that while we wait for these questions to come in.
Yeah, so classes start next Monday, January 8th. So we are so excited for you to be able to get started. So if you're joining us and starting on Monday, tell us where you're joining from. If you've got questions about getting started or what to expect during Pathway Connect 101, we are happy to answer those type of questions. The other thing that I will start out with is if you have enrolled but haven't started your Heber J Grant application yet, it is a tuition discount available for all students. It is incredible. So I like to advise people after they enroll, but before they pay your tuition, but you can still do it after you've paid tuition. But you are going to, in your student portal, you'll see a banner about Heber J Grant, about this awesome tuition discount. And you're going to have the opportunity to learn a little bit about the life of President Heber J Grant. He was a president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And you'll learn about his life. You'll answer some questions about your life. And then because it is a needs-based tuition discount, you're going to receive 10, 25, or 50% off your tuition. It is an amazing opportunity. And that tuition discount is good for a couple of years. So it's good from the time that you get it until you are a couple years in. So it's good in Pathway Connect. It's good in online certificates and degrees through BYU Idaho and Ensign College. We just ask folks to complete it every couple of years. So if there's been any changes, and if you've had any major changes, please reach out to your peer mentor. Make sure that they're aware of what's going on. Sometimes there's some additional help that can be provided, but only if we know that that's needed. And so the Heber J Grant tuition discount is available for all students worldwide that are serviced through BYU-Pathway worldwide. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that opportunity. And then we have a second tuition discount. Well, I'm already talking tuition discount. I may as well, right?
Gotta, right.
So if you have recently returned home from a mission, a full-time mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in the last 5 years, whether you were a full-time service missionary or full-time proselyting mission in your 20s, you are going to be eligible for an additional discount, which is the recently returned missionary tuition discount. And this is good for 25% off for the 5 years since you've come home. So let's say you've been home from a mission for 6 months. The recently returned missionary tuition discount is going to be good for the next 4.5 years. So that's during Pathway Connect, that's during online certificate and degree classes through BYU Idaho and Ensign College, which is awesome. So please make sure that you are sharing that discount with your friends. If you have anyone in your life that you think, hey, BYU Pathway would be a great fit for them, go ahead and share this feed with them. This will be recorded so people can watch it later, and we are happy to answer any questions that we can. So please help us share what a wonderful opportunity BYU Pathway is with your friends and family.
All right. We have got a whole bunch of questions ready for you.
Okay, we're ready. Let's do this.
We're going to hit these hot. This can take a few minutes for us to get through them. We try to hit every single question, so just stay with us for a minute. We're going to jump to an Instagram question first. How do I transfer credits from a campus like BYU Provo into BYU Pathway, Brooke?
Awesome. So after you are enrolled, you'll be able to transfer those credits. But what you can do right now is on BYU Pathway's website. So you're going to go to BYU-Pathway.edu, and then under the admissions section, there's an academic transfer credits. So it's BYU-Pathway.edu/admissions/transfer credits up on the screen right now. And so you can get an unofficial transfer credit evaluation, so you can have a good sense of what classes are going to transfer over, what's going to be eligible. And so that's an unofficial transcript that will happen fairly quickly. But official transcripts should be sent from BYU to BYU Pathway Worldwide. And you can do that either in the application when you apply or by contacting BYU Pathway support. And you'll be able to go in and do that. So if you have questions after looking at the transfer credit evaluation, please let us know. But again, as part of the application, you can include your transcripts from other universities. And then you can also reach out to the support team in order to get some help.
Awesome. Okay, keep the questions coming. I know we have a lot of people who have just joined. We're going to answer these as quickly as possible. We're going to put Brooke to the test. She knows pretty much every answer, but we're still going to make her work for it today. So just a Happy New Year shout out. We love it. And Stella says, hey, I'm from Nigeria and joining, and we're glad to have everybody here. We'd love to hear where you're from. If you want to put it in, I'll try to share those. Okay, we have a question from Megan. Says, hey, I graduated with a certificate last semester. When do I get the certificate in the mail?
Awesome. Great question, Megan. So it's going to take, for the physical copy of your certificate, about 6 to 10 weeks, depending on where you live. So we're only about 2-3 weeks from graduation. So I would say it should be there in the next 3 to 7 weeks. I know when I graduated from BYU, Idaho, it took about 6 or 7 weeks for it to get to me in Indiana. That's where I lived after graduation. And so if you're in the United States, I would say it's probably 6 to 7, maybe 8 weeks. If you are international, I would say it's going to be closer to that 8 to 10 weeks before the physical copy is available. But you also have the option to get a online version of your certificate. So in your student portal, you should have a digital copy of your certificate that's available via PDF in your student portal.
Awesome. Okay. Is it too late to register for BYU, Idaho, or Ensign if you've been accepted? So I'm guessing if you've started an application, right, Brooke?
Yeah. So Marla, if you have started your application, you've been accepted, you do not have, you have time. So don't worry. So go into your student portal. You can still register for classes. So please make sure that you're going in and doing that. We would love to have you. You still have time to go in and do that. But you need to get that application done or accept your offer really soon. So today is the last day to complete an application. So if there's anything outstanding for BYU Idaho or Ensign College applications, you need to go in and get that finished. And then you still have time to register for your classes. So would love to have you this semester. Please make sure you go in and register for those classes.
Awesome. We just have another shout out. BYU Pathway is such a blessing. Thank you. We believe it too. We see it all the time. Next question says, when is the next starting date?
Yeah, so classes are going to start January 8th. That is the next time that classes will begin. Classes right now start every January, April, and September, which is awesome. So if you missed out, you still have time to get your application started by going to BYU-Pathway.edu. In the upper right-hand corner, you can click a button that says Apply for Free. So if you're interested in starting with Pathway Connect, there is still absolutely time to do that. BYU-Pathway.edu. BYU-Pathway.edu. You're going to go in the upper right-hand corner, Apply for Free. That's going to take you to our admissions page where you can learn a little bit more about what's going on, what path is going to be best for you. And then you are going to be able to get started next Monday, January 8th. If that feels like, whoa, that is a really long time, you can get started in April. So classes for 102 are going to start January 8th. Or excuse me, 101 is January 8th. 102 is going to be in the middle of February. And then next term will start in April.
Awesome. Okay, if you're just joining us, the format is you put your questions in the chat. I read them and make Brooke answer all of those. We have a ton of questions today, Brooke. So we're going to try to go as quick as we can. And we might need to do another one of these to answer so many questions that we're getting today.
Love
Happy
it.
New Year, everyone. We love it. Okay, so we're going to jump over to the next set of questions. Two kind of questions about mentors. How do I know who my mentor is? And then when can we chat with our mentors? We'll do those together.
Perfect. Yeah. So your mentor, the way that you can find out, so if you've recently enrolled, it might take a couple of days for your mentor to be assigned. We're sort of in what we refer to as a peak volume time and getting folks assigned out. So if you haven't heard from them yet, you can absolutely reach out to them. So what you can do is go to BYU-Pathway.edu, and in the lower right-hand corner of that web page, there is going to be a button that said need help, chat with us. You'll click on that button. And then you will log in, you'll authenticate who you are. And then once you're authenticated, you can say, who's my mentor? And then their contact information, if one is assigned, will be shared with you. So again, BYU-Pathway.edu, lower right-hand corner, need help, chat with us. And they should be available to help answer questions, to provide support. You should be hearing from them at least weekly once classes start.
Okay, we've got another certificate question, and maybe you addressed this earlier. I was supposed to get a certificate last semester, but I haven't gotten anything saying I was eligible to get it.
Yeah. So Madison, it's going to be an individual basis. So I'm not entirely sure about your specific situation. But if you applied, so that's one thing about this is in order to receive a physical copy of your certificate, you have to apply for your certificate or your associate's degree or your bachelor's degree. Even if you've finished all of the classes required for it, you still have to go in and apply for that certificate and to know, hey, I'm done, I've finished. And so I would start with your mentor. They'll be able to create a ticket or look into this further with specific information. If you haven't heard from your mentor, if you've tried that route, can you send us a direct message? And we are happy to try to help the best we can.
Awesome. Kind of like a follow-up. I think Megan was kind of replying, you have to apply for it, but I haven't heard when it will come. So yeah, I don't know if it tells you in the portals, Brooke, if it says like kind of when to expect it or not. Do you know?
I don't know if it says when to expect it in the portals, but I know typically it takes 6 to 10 weeks for a physical copy of the certificate to arrive.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a question, an English Connect 3 question. Do we know more information about like the hours and the days? I'm assuming for kind of their gathering and I actually don't know enough about English Connect 3 to answer this. Brooke, do you know a little bit more about how to answer this one?
Yeah, so in English Connect 3, they're similar to BYU Pathway in the gathering days and times. So it's typically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and there's morning, afternoon, evening times. I would say the bulk of them are going to be on Thursdays, but you'll be able to pick a gathering time that is best for you.
Awesome.
And English Connect 3 follows the same schedule as BYU Pathway. So classes will start next week and run for 14 weeks.
Awesome. Okay, we have so many questions. I am just like running through these as quick as we can. We have just a shout out from Mozambique. We're glad to have you here. Oh, that's the one we just did. Okay, we have a question about, I would like to study kind of how to get started. So let's do that. We actually have two, this one and one from Instagram.
Awesome. We would love for you to join BYU Pathway Worldwide. So you're going to go to BYUPathway.edu. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to go to apply for free. That will take you to our admissions page where you can learn a little bit more about BYU Pathway Worldwide and what to expect. On that page, then there's going to be a large button that says apply now. And so you're going to be able to select. So if you're a new applicant, you'll be able to say begin application. If maybe you studied with us once before and you're ready to come back, you can click on the returning student form. And what's great about BYU Pathway is that there's no application fee. There's no ACT or SATs, no essay requirements. You don't have to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in order to enroll or participate. You do need to have a free church account. And so as part of the application process, you'll create a free church account. And that's just essentially our single sign-on system, our way to be able to have student trackage. So There's no requirement to be a member of the church to participate in most areas. There are a couple of countries in the Middle East where there are requirements to be members, but by and large, you don't need to be a member. And you have a great opportunity to start your education and to be able to receive a U.S. accredited university degree. The other thing that I'll say is if English is not your native language, you will have to take a free English language assessment. And this is just to make sure that you have the language skills necessary to do BYU Pathway Worldwide and to succeed in a university setting. So, and if you don't get a qualifying score on the ELA, you can start with English Connect, which is a great opportunity for you to be able to learn English in a very safe environment.
Awesome. And I think you made up a word called trackage in there, Brooke. It was great. You just kind of went right through that. If we were doing this in person, I would have teased you relentlessly on that one. But if you're just joining us, put your question in the chat. We have quite a long queue, so it can take about 10 minutes for us to get to all the questions, but somehow we're almost always able to get through every question. Just kind of a follow-up. I think this is about certificates again from Madison. They said I would get another email. I never got that. Could you just give Madison a little bit of advice on what to do to follow up on that?
Okay. So I know right now, Madison, if you reached out in the last week or two, we're in what we call our peak. And so our response times are a little bit longer than typical. So I would follow up with them via email and just say, hey, I haven't heard back. Can I get some additional help or insight on what's going on? We can create a ticket if you send us a direct message, but if you're already emailing with someone and in contact, that's going to be the best way to get a response.
Awesome. Okay. We have a shout out from Mozambique.
Glad to have you here. For joining us.
And Jennifer says, hey, I'm just here watching from the Philippines. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Jennifer. Okay. We think you're great too. Yeah. Here's a question about being able to join if you're not a member of the church. And I think you talked about this, but we'll go through it real quick again.
Yeah. So you can absolutely join if you're not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You can study through BYU Pathway Worldwide. There are a couple of countries in the Middle East where you do need to be a member, but that's it. So if you have a specific question or you want to share your home country, we're happy to confirm. But just go to BYUpathway.edu in that upper right-hand corner, click apply for free to get started. We would love to have you.
Amazing. Okay, let's jump over to some Instagram questions for a minute, Brooke. We have a question about degree planner being kind of challenging. I'm going to put this one up if you have any advice or insight there.
Yeah. So we actually work in the marketing department, so we don't have a ton to do with degree planner, but we will share your feedback with the group that does manage degree planner. I'm sorry. I know how frustrating it can be when something doesn't work the way that you want it to, or the way that you're expecting it to. And so we will share that feedback. Beginning next semester, when we transition to the 96 credit degrees through BYU Idaho and Ensign College, there will be a set degree path. So if you select, oh, I want to do this certificate or I want to do this degree, it will sort of work through with you and say, great, if you want to finish in this amount of time, you need to take these classes this semester and these classes next semester. And so with the 96 credit degrees, there won't really be any variance. It will be, hey, these are the classes required for your degree. Because part of what's amazing about the 3-year degrees, which are US accredited, and you'll still be able to get into master's programs or get great jobs after receiving a 3-year degree, because it's still a bachelor's degree. It just can be completed in 3 years' time. And so that will be really a prescribed curriculum because we are eliminating electives, which will allow you to focus on your classes and to receive a degree faster and for less money.
Okay, and I think that this is a follow-up. I lost the thread here. Because of this, I can't apply for my degree program. So if somebody's having a problem like applying for a degree program, what advice would you give them, Brooke?
Yeah, so a couple of things. So based on this, I'm making the assumption that you haven't gotten your Pathway Connect certificate. And so if you have your Pathway Connect certificate, you don't need a physical copy of your certificate. If you have completed the curriculum with a 3.0 or B average or higher, you should be able to apply into that degree directly. So if you could send us a direct message with more information, we're happy to try to help figure out what's going on. You do need a 3.0 or higher in order to move on from BYU Pathway, Pathway Connect into online certificates and degrees. So there might be either a hold on your account if you haven't paid tuition, or if your GPA is a little bit too low.
Okay. Keep putting the questions in. We've got quite a large list still we're going to work through. Next question is about Institute. Are Institute classes mandatory through BYU Pathway? And if so, how many classes are required?
Yeah, so while you're enrolled in Pathway Connect, during Pathway Connect 101 and 102, you'll take one Institute class, and then during 103 and your certificate class, you'll take another Institute class. And so part of what's awesome about Institute is it's free credits. So when you transfer to BYU Idaho and Ensign College and start taking religion classes, you'll have to pay for those classes and those credits. But during your time in Pathway Connect, when you're taking Institute classes for credit, it's free. So it's not currently mandatory, but it is highly, highly recommended, highly encouraged, because when you transition to BYU Idaho and Ensign College, you'll be able to take 4 free religion classes, credits with you. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay for those 4 credits later. So we highly recommend that you take it. And there's a lot of really great Institute classes that you can take during your time as a Pathway Connect student.
Love it. Okay, so someone's having a problem with their church account. I have 2 separate accounts. One's linked to my MRN and the other isn't. I don't have access to the MRN one anymore. So where can they go to get a little help with that? Because that's not us.
Yeah. So a couple things. If you are currently enrolled, your mentor is going to be the best person to reach out to. And if you're not sure who your mentor is, if you're enrolled, you're going to go to BYU-Pathway.edu. You should find their contact information in your student portal, or you can go to the lower right-hand corner that says, "Need help? Chat with us." And you can, after you authenticate, you can ask who your mentor is, and their contact information will be shared. And then if you are still having issues, send us a direct message and we can create a ticket for you. If you have 2 accounts with BYU Pathway, or if you have 2 church accounts, what you can do is go to the church's website, so account.churchofjesuschrist.org/recovery, and you can reset your church account. So if it's a matter of your church account information, please go to this website, account.churchofjesuschrist.org/recovery, and you'll be able to get that back.
Awesome. What happens if I fail, all the Pathway Connect semesters?
Yep. So you will need to retake them. So you need to get at least a 3.0 or higher in order to move on from Pathway Connect to BYU Idaho or Ensign College. So you'll want to make sure that you are participating in the gatherings, that you're submitting your homework assignments. That doesn't mean that you have to get an A in all 3 courses, or that you need to even get a B in all 3 courses, but you do need to have a B average. So you'll just go through and retake the term that you need to.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to keep going through these. Here's a question. How do I enroll in a certificate for teaching English as a second language?
Awesome. So there's a couple of options for you. So you can go through Pathway Connect, which is 3 terms, which is a great opportunity for you to learn and take advantage of, getting back into school, online learning. And then you're also going to be eligible for more affordable tuition. So if you complete Pathway Connect, you're going to keep whatever the Pathway Connect tuition rate is in your country will stay with you when you go to BYU Idaho or Ensign College online. If you say, you know what, money is not really an object, I'm ready, I just want to go for my certificate, you're going to go to BYUPathway.edu. You'll go to the admissions page and you'll select that you want to do the advanced path or to go directly to BYU Idaho and Ensign College online. And that is $139 a credit. You'll also need to provide ACT, SAT scores, and there's a lot more information that is required to make that transition to BYU, Idaho, and Ensign College without having completed Pathway Connect first. So it's a great option for some people where they say, hey, I just want to do this. I'm not really worried about the money or time. I'm ready. So the choice is really up to you. You can go to BYU-Pathway.edu and get started with Pathway Connect next week, or you can go to BYU-Pathway.edu, and then applications to go directly to BYU, Idaho, and Ensign College will open in a few weeks, and you'll be able to begin in April.
Awesome. Anything else about this? I don't know much about this certificate, Brooke. Anything else about that certificate that you know? Like, is it has it fit into a specific degree, or
Yeah.
do you know much
So
about it?
teaching English as a foreign language is typically, or as a second language, is typically part of the professional studies degree, where it gives you the opportunity to sort of make your own path. And we see people who get that certificate and, they work in language schools, they work as, they use it to work as an ESL teacher, English as a second language. It's a great opportunity to really take advantage of online learning and to help others learn the English language.
Awesome. Okay, we have so many questions. I'm trying to go so fast here. So kind of somebody struggling with changing and selecting courses, where can they go for help, and how can they kind of figure out how to get the help they need?
Yeah. So if you are enrolled in BYU Idaho Ensign College online, BYU Pathway is your support. So your mentor is there to support you, and then advising is there to support you as well. So Darby and I work in the marketing department, and we started doing this series to try to answer as many questions as quickly as we can. Unfortunately, there's some more technical questions that we don't have the answers to, or are outside of our purview. And so we are happy to try to help make connections. But I would start with your mentor first, and they can escalate that to advising and to support.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, I'm watching from Kinshasa. Will it be possible to register for Block 2 courses in February, or do I have to register for both now?
Yeah, so you'll register. So if you are starting Pathway Connect 101 in January, so just next week, during Pathway Connect 101, you'll have an opportunity to register for 102. If you have completed 101 already and you're thinking about coming back and you're ready to start Pathway Connect 102, you can register for that now in order to start in February. But if you are a 101 student, you can finish that term or be partway through that term and then register for 102.
Awesome. Okay. We just have Charlie saying, hey, I'm really excited to get started this semester. We're excited to have you.
So happy to have you.
Another question about certificates. This is a common one, so we're going to need to make sure we answer this one a lot. When will my certificate be available?
Yep. So your Pathway Connect certificate, as long as you've received a 3.0 or higher GPA, is going to be available in your student portal. And so you'll be able to download a PDF version of that. We don't mail copies of the Pathway Connect certificate. Only the BYU, Idaho, and Ensign College certificates are mailed. And so it's a great opportunity for you to learn and take advantage of that, but you'll just download it from your student portal.
Awesome. Hey, if you're just joining us, we're going to give Brooke a chance to take a drink real quick. She's answering all the questions really fast. Put your questions in the chat. Brooke and I love answering your questions. We've got about 20 queued up on Facebook and about the same from Instagram. So it takes about 10 minutes for us to answer the questions. So stick around for a minute and we will get there as quickly as we can. We have a Spanish one, Brooke.
Okay.
I'm going to throw it to you and let you work on that.
Okay. Okay, so they're saying that they're interested and they want to enroll, but they have, I'm not sure what trabas is, maybe troubles?
And we should have a live in Spanish later today. We usually have a live on Wednesdays.
Yes. So visita a BYU-Pathway.edu/AS. Es una oportunidad de aprender más sobre BYU Pathway en español. También es una oportunidad de aprender English Connect y online títulos y aprender sobre BYU, y es una oportunidad de aprender las clases most miércoles tienes un live en español, pero no sé hoy. Un momento. I'm going to ask if we have, if the gals that do our lives in Spanish are going to be able to go live today.
Okay. And if any of you, that was a question from Facebook, if any of you can answer that in Spanish. We had a couple on Instagram saying that it means obstacles, or I've had, troubles and obstacles. So we always appreciate when all of you chime in and help us out. We're kind of doing like 15 things at once here, trying to answer questions and put them into the chat. So Brooke's going to check right now and see if our girls who typically run a live on Wednesdays are doing that in Spanish today with the holiday, or just coming out of the holiday. So we'll answer that in just a minute. But I'm going to jump to our next question real quick, Brooke, because we've got a lot of them today. The next question says, hey, can we take classes over the summer to speed up the completion of a degree? And as far as I understand, BYU, Idaho, and I don't know if Ensign College runs the same way. They run 3 full semesters. So they really only have about 7 or 8 weeks that there's no classes, right?
Yes. So part of what is so great about BYU-Pathway, BYU Idaho, Ensign College is that we operate on what's called the 3-track system. And so students are able to take classes all 3 semesters long. And what's also really fun about it is that you can take classes at your own pace. So if during summer term, or what we refer to as spring term between April and July, you have a lot going on, maybe you have small children at home, you can just take one class at a time if you want to. So you're really able to keep going toward your degree without necessarily having all of the requirements or feeling like you have to take a full load.
Awesome. Okay, we're running a little bit slower than 10 minutes right now. So this one is a little bit behind. We're going to try to go a little faster. Can I get scholarships for BYU Pathway? Yeah, we have 2 main scholarships, the Heber J. Grant tuition discount and recently returned missionary tuition discount. So if you go to our website, byupathway.edu, you can learn more about those 2 tuition discounts. The recently returned missionary tuition discount is for young, recently returned missionaries or service missionaries who have returned in the last 5 years. The Heber J. Grant tuition discount is available for all students, and you apply for that after you enroll. And it's for 10, 25, or 50% off, depending on your need. Those are our 2 primary scholarships. We have a shout out from Nigeria, a shout out from the Philippines, and we have a question about master's degrees, Brooke.
Awesome. Yeah. So BYU Pathway does not currently offer any master's programs. But we do have, once you get a U.S. accredited degree through BYU, Idaho, or Ensign College Online, you are able to apply for master's programs. We have several students that have gone on to get master's degrees after finishing through BYU Pathway.
Awesome. Okay. So is Institute required to attend? I'm not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick while I get our next one ready.
Yeah, so institute or religion classes are required to receive a degree through BYU, Idaho, or Ensign College. But there are religion classes that you can take that are not specific to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so we offer classes like Jesus Christ and His Ever-Living Gospel, which is really just about the Savior. We offer classes on the Old Testament, on family history, on the New Testament. And so there's a lot of really great classes that you can take that are learning about the Savior and His gospel, but aren't necessarily specifically, the Book of Mormon or the Doctrine and Covenants, books of scripture that are specific to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Awesome. Keep the questions coming. We got another question about a master's degree. Brooke just talked about this. So BYU Pathway does not a means to get a master's degree, but we know many people who go and get a master's degree after, but bachelor's degree is the highest degree that you can get. Just a shout out from Tanzania. Okay, hold on, let's see. We have a kind of a technical question. I'm gonna put this up here, Brooke, and let you read that. Okay, so last semester I was having a specific design class, and then I was going to register for the next class, and it says it's not scheduled.
So that if you can, I would reach out to your mentor. That is a more technical question that I'm unfortunately unable to answer, don't know the answer to. So if you want to reach out to your mentor or if you want to send us a direct message, members of our team can create a support ticket. But we don't know the answer to that, but that is super frustrating. I am so sorry.
Yeah. Just a shout out from Venezuela, and then a question about transferring credit from a previous college. I'll pull up the unofficial URL there, Brooke.
Yep. So what we do is as a couple of things. So as part of your application to BYU Idaho Ensign College Online, you're going to be able to submit your transcripts for evaluation. Or after you enroll, you can also do this. So you can also go to BYU-Pathway.edu/admission/transfer-credits to get an unofficial evaluation of your credits and what's going on and sort of how what your credits might look like, what's likely to transfer, so that as you're planning out your semester, you know which one to go forward with.
Awesome. Okay, so question here says, hey, after finishing Pathway Connect, what are the next steps? I'm from the Philippines.
Perfect. So after you finish Pathway Connect, you're going to have the opportunity to continue with BYU Idaho and Ensign College Online. And I will say, it sounds like you did Pathway Connect a while ago. At 10 weeks, or 10 months was sort of a couple of years ago. Pathway Connect is now just 21 weeks. So just over 4 months, which is a great opportunity for folks to get moving quick. But if you are just recently finishing Pathway Connect, you can go in your student portal. You should also still be able to do this, Shaw, is say that you want to apply for an online degree program. You need to have at least a 3.0 or higher in Pathway Connect in order to move on. And if you don't, you can absolutely retake one of your Pathway Connect courses. And what is so great about BYU Idaho and Ensign College Online is that you're going to have the opportunity to receive a U.S. accredited degree right there in the Philippines at a great rate.
Awesome. Okay, if you're just joining us, I'm Darby and this is Brooke.
Hi.
And this is just called You've Got Questions, We've Got Answers, where we try to answer as many questions as we possibly can in about an hour. And so if you're just joining us, put your questions in the chat. It takes 10 or 15 minutes to get to your questions, so don't be frustrated. I'm trying to put every question in there. And sometimes we even do them in groups if there are related questions. So we're going to jump to our next Facebook question. And it says, hey, I stopped doing Pathway Connect a year and a half ago. Can I come back? And how do they come back, Brooke?
Yes, you absolutely can come back. We would love to have you. And so depending on where you're at in your Pathway Connect journey, you're going to go to BYU-Pathway.edu. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to click the Apply for Free button. That will take you to admissions. And then you're going to click on a gold button that says Apply Now. And when you click on that, there'll be a pop-up where you'll see new applicants, and you can scroll down to returning students. And that's where you're going to click to be able to come back and start up where you left off. So if you finished 101 and you're ready to come back for 102, don't be alarmed. Those classes won't start until second block in the middle of February.
Awesome. And I think you already answered this asking about taking classes. Yeah, that there's 3 full semesters to take classes, so you can take classes I think all the way through July.
Yes.
So it's pretty robust, and you can get going and get a lot done. Okay, we're gonna keep jumping around here. Oh, we just had a testimonial for institute classes. Fabulous. Yeah, they're fantastic and free credits. So it's hard to beat. Yeah. We have a question about being accepted for online. So, I mean, on campus, Brooke.
Yeah. So BYU Pathway is not a means to get you to campus or to go to any other university. So BYU Pathway is designed to help students stay right where they are and go on to BYU Idaho or Ensign College Online. So completing Pathway Connect will give you a better chance of getting accepted into BYU Idaho or Ensign College Online at a phenomenal rate and allow you to sort of stay exactly where you are. If you are interested in transferring to a campus, you'll need to work with that university to work through all of the details and what is or isn't available where you are.
Awesome. So which kind of careers are offered? Let's talk a
Yeah.
little bit about, probably wondering about getting a job perhaps, or maybe just what the degrees are.
Perfect. So BYU Pathway Worldwide is pretty unique in the education world. So typically when you go to university, you walk away once you finished your classes with a bachelor's degree. That's what I did. That's what Darby did. But BYU Pathway is designed to help people increase their employment along the way. And so in the same amount of time, same amount of money that you typically get a bachelor's degree, you're going to be able to get 3 certificates, an associate's degree, and a bachelor's degree. It's just how we've stacked the courses. And so we offer certificates in almost 30 different career paths. And then we have 7 bachelor's degrees and 8 associate's degrees. So we have an associate's degree in family history research. And then we have associate's and bachelor's degrees in applied business, applied health, communication, and human and family relations, information technology, web development, and professional studies. And so there's a great opportunity for you to sort of work through what is going to be best for you. And you can visit byupathway.edu/degree/program-list, which is up on the screen right now, to understand more about the offerings and potential job opportunities after receiving those certificates or degrees.
Awesome. Okay. We have about 40 questions, Brooke, we're trying to get through right now.
Yep.
So can I transfer credits when I'm doing Pathway Connect, or do I need to wait until I start kind of studying in the university?
Yeah. So as part of your application from Pathway Connect to BYU Idaho or Ensign College Online, that is when you're going to submit your transfer credits.
Awesome. Okay. I think that we answered this question about the English as a second language, because we jumped ahead on that one. Okay, so I completed Pathway Connect in 2016. Do I still qualify for the 3-year degree program?
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to answer this in 2 parts. So if you completed Pathway Connect in 2016 and never went on to BYU Idaho or Ensign College, you can absolutely come back. We would love to have you. If you have been working toward your degree over the last 7 years still, you could transition to the 3-year degree, but it might not be best for you, or it might take you longer to do because you would switch catalog years and some of the requirements will be different. And so it is possible, but it might not be advisable. So what I would do is, if you haven't started or enrolled in Pathway or Ensign College or BYU Idaho Online, that application is going to be open in a few weeks. And you'll be able to start classes in April, so long as you have a 3.0 or higher. You'll also need an ecclesiastical endorsement and to complete the BYU Idaho /Ensign College online application. But you are absolutely eligible to come back and to start the 3-year degree program.
Awesome. Hey, Marta says, I convinced my sons to sign up. They haven't received info on paying or ecclesiastical endorsement. They're both inactive. So if they're signing up for Pathway Connect, they won't need an ecclesiastical endorsement at that point. So that would be why. If they're going, if they're working on the degree with BYU Idaho or Ensign College, that would be different. Maybe you could give us a little more info, Marta. But yeah, they shouldn't have to do that yet. In terms of payments, will they get a notice on that, Brooke, or how does that work?
So in their student portal, so this is a little bit different. So if they are BYU Idaho or Ensign College online students, tuition is due next Monday, January 8th. And so they'll need to pay that before then. In their student portal, in the finance tab, there should be an option for them to pay their tuition. If they are BYU Pathway, if they're working on Pathway Connect, they have the entire term to pay their tuition right now. And so we recommend still students paying at the top of the term if they can, but students can make payments throughout the term. Again, in the finance tab in their student portals, where they'll see information about that.
And Marta, before they go and pay their tuition, make sure that they do the Heber J. Grant tuition discount module. That will save them at least 10%, if not more, depending on their needs. So, and you watch a few videos and you answer some questions. I think in all it takes about 40 minutes, but it's really worth it. And that you don't have to renew that for another 2 years. So it stays with you, and it's available through the entire degree experience. Okay, we have so many, Brooke. We have another one in Spanish here I'm going to put up while I get the next question ready.
Okay, so they're asking if they're able to do it in English or Spanish. Are they able to do it in Spanish? Okay, so BYU-Pathway es un programa de la iglesia solamente en inglés ahora. English Connect es una oportunidad de aprender inglés en con amigos y con fe, pero BYU Pathway solamente en inglés ahora.
Amazing. Okay, so they're asking about transferring. I'm wondering if they're asking about transferring between BYU Idaho and Ensign College if they change their degree.
Yeah.
Do they need to do anything, Brooke? How does that work?
Yeah, so English, so Ensign College is the provider for the communication degree online. So there are, in our degree system, some of our degrees are offered through BYU Idaho and some are offered through Ensign College. So communication is a bachelor's degree offered through Ensign College. And so if you have started a program and you're like, hey, I actually don't want to do applied business anymore, I don't want to do family and human relations, you can work with your advisor and you can just say, hey, I want to transition and do this class instead, and go for the communication degree. If you're having issues doing this, send us a direct message and we'll do our best to submit a ticket to get you some answers.
Awesome. Okay, the next question just says, how do I register? So you're going to go to BYU-Pathway.edu, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little gold button that says apply for free. You're going to click on that and start your application. It's really fast. If English isn't your first language, you'll need to take an English exam just to make sure that you're ready for university English. Other than that, it's really fast. Those are the basic steps. If you're coming back, the steps are a little bit different, but if it's your first time applying, that's going to be what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. If you have other questions, let us know. We'll try to answer those. Okay, so yeah, and Charlie was just kind of commenting, I think it's in block 3 that they need to apply for the ecclesiastical endorsement. Yeah, as you get ready to apply for BYU Idaho and Ensign College, that's 100% correct. Thank you for clarifying and getting to that before we got to it. Okay, so if I have credits from another university, how do I have to do Pathway Connect, or can I go directly into my certificate or degree?
Yeah, so you have the option to do that. So there's a couple of pros and cons, different benefits of doing BYU, doing Pathway Connect before going on to online certificates and degrees. So you are welcome to transition to BYU Idaho or Ensign College online. You will need to submit ACT, SAT scores, your transfer credits. You'll also need to have your ecclesiastical endorsement done first, and a few other elements. And then you will pay the same price no matter where in the world you live, which is $139 US a credit. If you start with Pathway Connect, you'll pay whatever the tuition rate is in your home country during your time as a BYU Idaho or Ensign College student online. So you are welcome to go directly to BYU Idaho or Ensign College online. Just wanted to point that out, that there is a fairly significant price difference, but sometimes that's the best option for someone and the right choice, because they only need a few credits, or they want to be able to finish faster. Pathway Connect is now just 21 weeks, so it's significantly faster to get it done.
Perfect. We have kind of 2 questions from Anthony here. Can an online student from Africa have the possibility to graduate with in-person students? Actually, they're the same question. I see that now.
Yes.
Yep.
So Darby and I have been going to graduation for a few semesters now. And so we have the opportunity to go and celebrate with students all over the world. We met people from Japan, Russia, Italy, the Philippines, Africa, South America. People just came from all over the United States and Canada to come celebrate graduation in person, even though they were an online student.
Fabulous. Okay, I want to register for Institute, but I keep getting errors. What advice can we give Monica?
That is frustrating. I'm sorry that that's happening. I'm not aware of any known issues right now. So if you want to send us a direct message, we can have our team look into that and figure out what's going on.
And another Institute question, how do I cancel an Institute class if I accidentally enrolled in 2?
You should be able to do that in your student portal when you see what classes you're registered for.
Awesome. Okay, this is a question about being like in person?
Yeah. So BYU Pathway is not designed to help students get to campus. There's not preferential treatment to BYU Idaho. There are parts of Asia and the Philippines and the Pacific for students who are from those areas and looking to go to BYU Hawaii. There is some preferred admissions to a campus experience, but only from those areas. So again, that's the Pacific, the Philippines, and Asia. So if you are looking to go to campus, BYU Pathway is not designed to do that. And then we are thrilled to be able to help people receive a degree online at a great rate and something that is a wonderful opportunity for so many. But if you're interested in going to campus, you'll need to work with that university specifically.
Awesome. Okay, and so Instagram often cuts us off at an hour, and we're getting close to that hour. So I'm trying to go through as many of our Instagram questions as possible in case we lose that connection. So hey, I chose the basic accounting path, and it's been really hard for me to understand. How do I change that certificate, and what kind of effect will that have?
Yeah, so you can change your certificate. Your classes will still be part of your GPA though. And so you will have that opportunity if you want to retake a class, if you're not satisfied with the grade that you received, you can retake it. But you will just be able to enroll in a different certificate. So you'll want to work with your mentor and with advising to be able to move forward.
Awesome. Stick with us. We're getting through these questions as fast as we can. Do you need to be a member of the church to study? You do not.
Nope.
Okay. My session will begin on January 8th, and they gave me the deadline of January 8th. If I haven't paid yet, what will happen?
So you'll be assessed a 5% late fee if you don't pay your tuition before or on January 8th when classes start.
Okay. How long until BYU Idaho lets me register for my second certificate? If I just finished my basic accounting certificate from Ensign last month, it still says like probably like in progress. I don't see the full comment.
So you should still be able to register for classes for your next certificate, even though it's saying your previous certificate is in progress. We have students that will work on 2 certificates at the same time. They'll take a class from one certificate and a class from another certificate. So it shouldn't hinder you from being able to enroll in classes for your next certificate.
Awesome. Next question says, hey, I just finished Pathway Connect and my first certificate in digital marketing. I applied for Ensign College. What are the next steps now? How do I communicate with like a mentor?
Awesome. So if you go to BYUPathway.edu in the lower right-hand corner, there is a button that says, have questions, chat with us, or need help, chat with us. You can go in, log in there, and then you can ask who's my mentor, and their contact information will be provided, and they'll be able to help you work through that. I know that right now it's peak time, and so our team is still going through applications. And so if you haven't heard yet, please let us know.
Awesome. Follow-up question on mentors, Brooke. To reach out to our mentor since the semester ended, do we have the same mentor?
Yes. So you should have the same mentor you had last semester. And if you have any issues or concerns with your assigned mentor, in your student portal, you have the opportunity to submit a ticket if something isn't quite right. So we want to make sure that you're having a great experience with your mentor.
Okay. Thanks everyone for being patient. We're trying to get through these as fast as we possibly can. We have a question about, this is probably not a question we know the answer to, but Brooke, do you want to address that real quick about somebody wanting to go study in person?
Yeah, so because that is outside of BYU Idaho, BYU Pathway, and Ensign College, I'm not sure. I believe she would return. So the BYU Study Abroad program is different than being accepted to BYU for regular classes. I know when I was at BYU Idaho, I had friends that did study abroads in England and Jerusalem, but then they came back and were BYU Idaho campus students. And so she would need to, my understanding is that she would need to apply to transfer to BYU campus.
Okay, so how long does it take to have your degree planner in review? I applied at the beginning of December and I'm still waiting.
Okay. I know right now it's in peak times, but if you send us a direct message, we can submit a ticket and try to figure out what's going on and try to get an answer for you. So
Okay,
send us a direct message on Instagram or Facebook, and we've got team members that will submit a ticket for you. So share your username and your student ID if possible.
Okay, we've got a two-part question about an endorsement and kind of some struggles there. Says, hey, I've got a question. My stake president has been trying to endorse me, and it's just not showing up. Yet my bishop has already done this. How do I resolve this issue? Because it's kind of the last day, and I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to study.
Okay, so couple of things. So one of the things that we have noticed is that sometimes a bishop will say that they have done the endorsement, but it doesn't actually push to the stake president. So has the endorsement pushed to the stake president, or are they not seeing it in their endorsement portal? So I would contact your bishop and have him look in the portal and see if he has properly passed it on to the stake president. That is super frustrating, and the endorsement process can be a challenge. And so if you reach out to your bishop and stake president, figure out if it's pushed properly, and then send us a direct message with your username and your student ID information, and we'll pass that on to the team and see if we can try to get some answers.
Perfect. We have two more Instagram questions, and we're going to stay on longer with Facebook. We have some more Facebook questions that are waiting. So thank you all for being patient. We appreciate you letting us answer everybody's questions. We know you all are here because you want answers, and that's what this is all about. Do I need to start first with Pathway Connect? Even though I'm fluent in English, can I apply directly to go to Ensign College or BYU Idaho?
Yes. Okay. So a couple of options. So it's really going to be up to you. So if you want to apply directly to BYU, Idaho, or Ensign College online, if English is not your native language, which it sounds like it's not, you will need to pass an English language assessment. You will also need to provide your ACT and SAT scores. You'll have to provide your high school or secondary school diploma. And so there's a more required at the front end if you want to go directly to BYU, Idaho, or Ensign College online. And then the tuition is $139 per credit. And that's a flat fee for everyone, no matter where you are in the world, if you go directly to BYU, Idaho, and Ensign College. So if that's not a concern for you, that's a great opportunity. If the pricing is a little bit of a concern, we recommend you start with Pathway Connect. What's great about Pathway Connect is it's just 21 weeks now. And so you'll be able to start with BYU, Idaho, and Ensign College online in September of this year. And then you will pay the tuition rate in your home country. So you can go to byupathway.edu/tuition to see what the rate is in your home country. And that rate will stay with you when you go on to BYU, Idaho, and Ensign College online.
Awesome. Okay, I think we found our last Instagram question here, and then we're going to jump all the way over to Facebook and get through those. Hey, it's just a shout out. Hey, I'm studying at Ensign, and I'm really excited. We're excited for you.
Awesome. Yes. So classes are going to start on Monday, and then in Canvas, you should see classes on Saturday the 6th. So if you have enrolled and you're excited for classes to start on Monday, but you're like, I haven't seen my classes, what's going on? You're going to see that in Canvas on Saturday. Darby, you're muted. But we did answer this question for Samuel.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, we're going to jump ahead. Hey, I've registered for a degree program, and as of now, it's not showing as my current course that's going to start on the 8th. Is that normal? Because I'm not registered to not be showing any courses.
Okay, so if you have registered, so if you've registered for your classes, they're just not showing up in your student portal until January 6th. So this Saturday is when classes will show up in Canvas, which is the online student portal.
Yeah, mine isn't showing up either. I'm taking a class. Okay, I finished project management certificate. How can I be sure that my application is complete?
Yes. Okay. So when you are close to finishing your certificate, if you went in and submitted the application, you should have gotten confirmation that you submitted the application. and that that you were able to get your certificate. So you do need to have a qualifying GPA to receive your certificate. And so it's different for each certificate, but you can't have taken all of the classes and gotten like D's and still expect a certificate. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can send us a direct message. We'll do our best to help.
Perfect. Okay. Hey, I'm just beginning my third year from after I completed Pathway Connect. Do I miss out on the 3-year bachelor's degree? Is it just for new students? How does that work?
Yes. Okay. So Jess, a couple of options. Depending on how far you are into your degree program, the 120 credit might be a better fit for you. So there is a webpage called BYU-Pathway.edu degree in hyphen 3. And so that webpage has more information about the 3-year degrees. There is an FAQ that's linked on that page as well, where you can learn more about, hey, is this the best option for me? So depending on what classes you've already taken, it may or may not be the best fit for you to switch over to the 96 credit degree.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, how can I see my first semester GPA if I wanted to continue?
Awesome. So one, we would love to have you back. With Pathway Connect, it doesn't matter what your first semester GPA is. You should be eligible to come back unless you failed Pathway Connect 101. Then we would recommend that you retake Pathway Connect 101. You won't be able to transition to BYU Idaho or Ensign College with a failing grade, but you don't need to have a high GPA in order to resume classes or to become a returning student. In your student portal, you should be able to see what your grade is. So I believe there's a person icon that you can click on in your student portal and see what your grades are.
Awesome. Hey, is it possible to finish a second certificate in 6 months, or do I have to, is it compulsory to take a year?
Yeah. So it's going to depend on what your certificate is and in what classes you need to take for that certificate. So there's some where there's a prerequisite required. And so you need to take those classes in one semester and then additional classes the second semester. And so it's going to depend on which certificate you're going for. But you can take as many classes as you feel comfortable taking in a semester. And then you just have to make sure that any prerequisites are met when registering for additional classes.
Awesome. Keep the questions coming. There are so many. I don't even know how many we've answered today. It's phenomenal. Hey, I received an email saying the courses should be up on January 6th.
Yep.
Can you also email your gathering couple to confirm that you can also email your gathering couple. Yes. And they should have reached out to you if you're starting Pathway Connect. Your service missionary should be reaching out. And if they're not, send us a direct message and let us know, because we want to just make sure that communication is really clear. But the service missionaries are great. Okay, let's see. Hey, I'm watching from Sierra Leone. If someone wants to complete his or her course at the campus, is that possible?
So it is possible, but you'll need to work with that university in order to make a transfer to it. So BYU Pathway is not designed to help students get to BYU Idaho or Ensign College or even other universities in person.
We have a question from YouTube that says, hey, I have a question. Is it possible to come back after you dropped out? You bet it is.
Yes.
I'll pull up that returning student URL for you, Brett.
Perfect. So you're going to go to returningstudents.byupathway.org. We would love to have you come back. It is so important for receiving higher education, and we want to help you. So it's not too late. You can go to returningstudents.byupathway.org to get started and to be able to complete Pathway Connect. So if you finished 101, 102 will start in mid-February. So don't be alarmed if you're like, oh my gosh, well, I've registered, but my class doesn't start till February. Pathway Connect 101 and 103 will start next Monday on January 8th. And then 102 will start in the middle of February.
Okay, will my diploma in applied business management through BYU Pathway look identical to a diploma received on campus?
Yes. It will look exactly the same. And if you are interested in going to campus for graduation and to celebrate, you are absolutely welcome to do that as well. Darby and I love it. We go to graduation every semester now, and we love meeting you guys in person and cheering you guys on.
It's fabulous. Okay, so another endorsement question, Brooke. Someone's saying their endorsement isn't getting to their ecclesiastical leaders. How can they resolve that?
That is a great question. So we don't work directly with the ecclesiastical endorsements. But what I would do is in your student portal and as part of the application, there should be an option for you to apply for an endorsement or to say, I want an endorsement. And that should ping your bishop to get that set up. You can also reach out to your ward executive secretary to schedule an appointment with your bishop and to work through that and look for it with them.
Fabulous. What does the tuition cost for BYU Idaho?
So it depends. So if you are going directly to BYU Idaho online or Ensign College online, it's going to be $139 a credit. If you have done Pathway Connect, and it doesn't matter if it was you just finished in December or if it was 4 years ago or longer, you're going to be eligible for the Pathway Connect tuition rate. So what is awesome about BYU Pathway is that you can go to byu-pathway.edu/tuition and see what BYU Pathway costs in your home country. And then it is going to, that tuition rate, whatever it is going to stay with you. So let's say tuition is $20 during Pathway Connect in your home country. When you transition to BYU Idaho or Ensign College online, it's going to stay whatever that Pathway Connect tuition rate is.
Okay, we have a question about textbooks. Hey, I'm having trouble looking for the list of textbooks for my upcoming semester. Every time I click on the link for textbooks under quick links, it tells me that the page is not working. Is there another place to find the list of textbooks needed for next semester?
So Tiff, your textbooks will all be in Canvas in your student portal. So part of what is great about doing it through BYU Pathway is that it's just in your student portal. Your classes, your books, your reading material, all of it is going to be in Canvas starting on Saturday.
Yep. And that's the thing is January 6th is when all of that's going to go live. And so, yeah, some of those pages might not be working quite yet. But yeah, you don't need to purchase additional textbooks is what Brooke's saying.
Yep.
Okay. So the degree planner used to be more user-friendly. Is there a limit to how many credits I can take per semester?
No, so there's not a limit based on the number of credits you can take per semester, but you'll want to make sure the classes are right for you. So we just talked a little bit about prerequisites. So sometimes it's needful for students to take, a 101 class before they take a 102 class. And so you'll want to make sure that you are paying attention to that. But we've had students take as many as 18 credits before. But I would just say do what is manageable for you and your life. Many of our students are working, they have families, they have community responsibilities. And so just make sure that you are doing something that is manageable for your life and your other responsibilities.
Love it. Question about becoming an instructor. Is there an application, like online? Do you know anything about that, Brooke?
Yeah, so if you want to do that, so I believe it's through BYU Idaho, but I'm not entirely sure. We don't work in that area. So if you want to send us a direct message, we can get some answers for you.
I was muted. We had this question a minute ago, but they just popped up with the same question. And I'm going to jump ahead because it was a previous one about, do we keep the same mentor, Brooke?
Yes. So you will keep the same mentor. If you have had struggles or if something isn't going well with your mentor in your student portal, you can submit a ticket and indicate that something is not working. They're either unresponsive or they aren't helpful or whatnot. We want you to have a great experience with your mentor. And so if there are questions or concerns, please make sure to submit a ticket in your student portal.
Awesome. Okay, next question says, how long does Pathway Connect take? 21 weeks, right, Brooke?
Yep. Yeah, so Pathway Connect is just 21 weeks. 101, 102, and 103 are just 7 weeks. And during 103, you'll take your first university class, and that is also 7 weeks now.
We are catching up. How do I know if my endorsement is done? So I believe it will show you on your application. When I was working on mine, it shows you that it's done once you're stake president, and that second interview has been done. If you're having trouble with an endorsement, Brooke, what's the recommendation for someone? Probably to reach out to their bishop or stake president first, right? Make sure that they've pushed that.
Yep. So they'll want to reach out to their bishop or stake president, to their ward executive secretary to see what's going on.
And I know since I just recently did an endorsement, it's better if you reach out to them and let them know that you're applying and that you would like to get an appointment and an interview to do that. For both the bishop and the stake president level. They just have a lot of things going on. So just reach out to, their executive secretary and get that scheduled, and make sure that they know that you're wanting to do that and that you're wanting to, work on school and you need this endorsement done. Okay. So question about enrolling to online campus at BYU Hawaii.
Yeah. So if you are from Asia, the Pacific, or the Philippines, if you have completed Pathway Connect with a 3.0 or higher, there is an option for you to go to BYU Hawaii on campus. And so you will go to byuhawaii.edu, byuh.edu, and you will be able to learn more about that experience. Let me pull up a URL really fast.
Perfect. And thank you everyone for being patient. We were running really behind. We had a lot of questions, about 40 in the queue that we were waiting on. We're back to about 15 minutes behind. If you asked a question, it will take us about 10 to 15 minutes that we're trying to get through these. So Brooke is she's pulling up URL a little bit about someone who's interested in enrolling to BYU Hawaii. Okay, I'm pulling that up, Brooke.
Awesome. So by and large, BYU-Pathway is not designed to get folks to campus, but there is a unique opportunity with BYU Hawaii for those who live in Asia, Pacific, or the Philippines to be able to go to campus. So there's, Darby's put up a URL with more information. So it's kind of long. If you even just Google BYU Hawaii and BYU-Pathway, you'll be able to find this link as well.
Okay. Next question. Hey, I want to switch to the 3-year degree, but it tells me that I need to take additional classes that aren't available. When will they be available, or is it best to wait for me until they're available? Like, do I continue with the 4-year degree, switch to the 3-year? I know there's a lot of questions around this.
Yeah. So Pedro, I would wait until there's more information available. I would stick to core classes though. So I would not take anything that is an elective or not specifically required for one of your certificates or degrees. If you have interest in switching to the 3-year degree program, there are some people where switching to the 3-year degree is not going to be the best option for them. You're going to have to change catalog years. And so sometimes that means classes that you took previously will need to be retaken, or they've made significant changes to the structure. And so you'll need to switch. And so I would wait until there's more information available. I would reach out to your mentor who can help set up an appointment with advising and can sort of walk you through if switching from the 4-year degree to the 3-year degree is the best for you.
Awesome. We have a question that says, hey, I have a question. I'm a full-time working adult. How do I get a waiver for my internship?
So it's going to depend on what your internship is in. Most times you can apply for a waiver in your student portal. But most times you're still going to be required to do it. Depending on where you're working full-time, it might count already. So for example, we have some student employees that are getting degrees in communication or digital marketing, and they work with us as student employees. And we also get to count their working hours toward their internship hours because their student employment position is directly related to what they are getting a degree in. And so I would work with your mentor to get more information on requesting an internship waiver, but it might not be granted. So I just want to make sure setting proper expectations. You are absolutely eligible to apply for one, but it may not be granted.
Awesome. Next question. Hey, I finished Pathway Connect with a GPA of 2.98. Can I apply to Ensign, or do I need to add another class to raise my GPA?
Yep. So you will need to retake part of Pathway Connect to raise your GPA. You do need a 3.0 or higher to go on to Ensign College or BYU Idaho online. And so I would recommend that you go into your student portal and you re-register for either 101, 102, or 103. I would say whichever class you had the lowest grade in and have the highest potential to improve your GPA is where I would go.
Hey, if I'm a member, is an ecclesiastical endorsement a must?
So during Pathway Connect, an ecclesiastical endorsement is not required, but during during BYU Idaho and Ensign College online, an ecclesiastical endorsement is required.
Okay, fabulous. Hello, my fellow BYU Pathway Worldwide team. I'm a service missionary in Liberia, West Africa. One of my students is intending to request a transfer to campus. Do you have any advice for them?
Awesome. Thank you for your service. We are so grateful for that. If they are intending to go to campus, I would recommend that they go to BYU Idaho or BYU-i.edu and learn about what requirements are for going to campus. BYU-Pathway doesn't have a direct path to get folks to campus. And so we want to make sure that they are full eyes open, know what is required of them. So I would recommend that they go to BYU-i.edu to learn more.
Awesome. So what am I going to study? That's our next question.
I love
So if
it.
you're starting with Pathway Connect, there's 3 parts: 101, 102, and 103.
Mhm.
And 101 is going to be life skills, kind of organization, growth mindset, kind of preparing and resetting. 102 is going to be professional skills, learning how to network, building your resume, starting to document all of this experience that you're going to have. And 103 is going to be university skills, preparing for the university, applying to the university. And in all of that, there's going to be English courses, writing courses, math courses. And then when you transfer into BYU Idaho or Ensign College through BYU Pathway, you're going to be taking just whatever you're studying. We know students who are studying all sorts of different courses. We have 7 different degrees, and so it can really branch out from there. But Pathway Connect's a really great and cool experience because it just really prepares you for the experience of like studying in your degree and being prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's the next question. Can I graduate somewhere online only, not on campus? Yeah, that's what BYU Pathway is all about.
Yep. So you don't have to leave. If you want to go to campus to celebrate graduation, you are welcome to do so, but it is not required.
Yeah. Hey, and if you're just joining us, we're taking about 15 minutes to get to questions. So please be patient. We're trying to get to all the questions that are in line ahead of yours. So just give us a few minutes to try to answer all of the questions. But we are trying to get to every question. It just takes a few minutes. Hey, I have a question. I am starting Pathway Connect, but I would like to know if I can apply for the Heber J. Grant tuition discount.
Yes. What is great about the Heber J. Grant tuition discount is it's available whether you are in Pathway Connect or in online certificates and degrees, so long as you're being serviced through BYU Pathway. And so Maria, in your student portal, you should see a banner ad that says Heber J. Grant or tuition discount, and you will be able to apply for that. You have until January 15th to get your application in. And so everyone is going to receive at least a 10% tuition discount up to a 50% tuition discount just for completing the tuition discount module and learning about Heber J. Grant and answer some questions about your life. So please take advantage of it. It's such a great option.
So great. We're going to keep jumping out. We're going to jump to a few Instagram questions for a minute. Hey, do we have the option to study at the university in person?
Yeah. So BYU Pathway is not designed to do that, but you are absolutely welcome to transfer or to go on to BYU Idaho or Ensign College or any university on campus. But we are not set up to get you there on our own. That's something that you'll need to apply to be a transfer student and to go on campus.
Awesome. Okay. So, hey, I applied to BYU Pathway. They never, okay, so they're talking about the English test. They never notified me if I passed the test or not. Do you know much about how that process works?
Yeah, so right after you finish the ELA, you should get a a pop-up that lets you know. So if you were able to finish the application, that means you got a qualifying score. You could continue moving forward. If you didn't get a qualifying score, you would have gotten a pop-up or something that said, during your Pathway Connect under English language assessment, your status would be ineligible. And so it would give you a time when you could retake it. But if you were able to finish your application, you got a qualifying score on the ELA. I'm sorry that wasn't more clear. And if you still have questions, please let us know.
Okay, we have a couple of questions from Instagram. Hey, when will classes start? So classes start on the 8th if you're starting through BYU Idaho or Ensign College, or if you're taking Pathway Connect 101 or 103. If you're taking Pathway Connect 102, that'll start, I don't have the date memorized, Brooke. What date does that start?
It's in the middle of February.
Okay, middle of February. We'll look that up for next time so we have it.
I'm like, let me look up.
That's okay. Middle of February if you're taking 102. That's the only different one. Now, if somebody forgot their password, where can they go, Brooke? And this is a BYU Hawaii, it says.
So I don't know what you can do for BYU Hawaii. So if you forgot your password for BYU Idaho, Ensign College, or BYU-Pathway, you can just say that you forgot your password or do an account recovery.
Awesome. Last question. Hey, I finished Pathway Connect 101, 102, and 103. Sounds like with great grades, but I didn't get my certificate. So Pathway Connect certificates are not mailed, but they are available digitally. So you're going to log in to your student portal. Up in the upper right-hand corner, there should be a little icon of a person. You're going to click on that, and you should be able to see your certificate there, and you can print that out, add it to LinkedIn, whatever you need to do. But those Pathway Connect certificates are not mailed. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, keep the questions coming. We are cruising here. We still have some Facebook ones to get through. Okay, so can I apply to Ensign with a GPA of 2.989 and add my institute credits? Or what does that look like, Brooke?
Yeah, so unfortunately, you have to have a 3.0 or higher in Pathway Connect in order to move on to BYU Idaho or Ensign College. So you'll need to retake a Pathway Connect course. You can still do that. You can register right now for Pathway Connect 101, 102, or 103. You're just going to go to BYU-Pathway.edu. You're going to say that you're a returning student, or you should be able to log into your student portal and say that you want to re-register for one of the programs.
Awesome. Now, Brooke, if somebody passed, going back to the question on Instagram, if they qualify to get their Pathway Connect certificate and it's not showing up, what steps should they take in order to make sure that they can get that?
Yeah, so I would reach out to your mentor, and they should be able to follow through and figure out what's going on in your student portal. I know that it took a couple of weeks to get the online version of your Pathway Connect certificate in the portal. And so reach out to them if you have questions, or if your mentor isn't available, please send us a direct message and we'll do our best to submit a ticket and figure out what's going on. And if you can include your username and your student ID number, that will make things go a lot faster.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, can I transfer it myself in my last semester to the U.S.?
You can, but you'll need to work with BYU Idaho or Ensign College, whatever university you're interested in going to. You'll need to work with them. BYU-Pathway is not designed to help you get to campus.
Awesome. Tiff just says, hey, shout out, thanks so much for your answers. This is very helpful. That's why Brooke and I do this. Brooke and I work in the marketing department, so we don't know all of the answers, but we know a lot of the answers and try to help send people in the right way. So we're glad we could help you. Just another thank you. And then we've got, hey, if you're taking Pathway Connect, do you also need to take Institute class? It's similar to a seminary class. Yes, you do. And the reason you want to take it while you're taking Pathway Connect is because it's free. In order to graduate from BYU Idaho or Ensign College, you need those religion credits. And when you're in Pathway Connect, you get to take those free. So we always recommend taking advantage of that. Anything you want to add to that, Brooke?
No, that's perfect. Hey,
how does a degree student locate their mentor? Same way as everyone. So
Yep.
I'll give it to you, and I'll put some more questions in for us.
Awesome. So you're going to go to BYU-Pathway.edu. You're going to log into your student portal account, and you will just ask, who's my mentor? So if you are being serviced through BYU Pathway Worldwide, you have a peer mentor. They should be reaching out to you about every week during the semester, checking in, offering encouragement and support. And so please make sure that you're taking advantage of them. We lovingly like to refer to them as your academic bestie. They are in a really great position to be able to help and to answer questions and to be there as a support system.
Awesome. Good evening. I'm a Nigerian undergraduate, and I need a scholarship abroad. Is there any available that I can get? So we can talk about the scholarships real quick. I'll pull up those, Brooke.
Yeah. And so there are 2 tuition discounts that are available for all students. And these tuition discounts are true tuition discounts. They're not things that need to be paid back at the end of the semester or at the end of graduation. So the first is the Heber J. Grant tuition discount. And what is great about this discount is it's available for all students worldwide, and you're going to receive a 10, 25, or 50% off your tuition. In your student portal, you should be able to go in. There should be a banner ad that says tuition discount, Heber J. Grant, scholarship. It sort of fluctuates and changes what it's called to try to keep people's attention. So I'm not sure what the banner says today, but you'll be able to go in and learn a little bit about the life of President Heber J. Grant, who was a president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Then you're going to answer some questions about your life, and then you're going to receive 10, 25, or 50% off. That is good for the next couple of years. And then you'll be able to reapply. If you are currently enrolled and have never done the Heber J. Grant tuition discount, please do it. Thanks to some really amazing, generous donors, you have the option to take advantage of this tuition discount. And then you'll be notified when it's time for you to reapply, but you have until January 15th to finish your Heber J. Grant tuition discount. The second tuition discount, which stacks with the Heber J. Grant tuition discount, is the recently returned missionary discount. So if you have returned home from a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the last 5 years, you are eligible for this tuition discount. So it doesn't matter if it was a full-time proselyting mission or a full-time service mission, you are eligible for this tuition discount. It is good for 5 years from the day you return home. So if you came home a year ago, you still have 4 years left of this tuition discount, and it can go from Pathway Connect into your online certificate and degree program.
Perfect. Okay. So I think this is about a church account. So if I have my records in a new account, can I like merge accounts? If this is a church account issue, what should somebody do?
Yep. So I would reach out to your mentor so they can get an appointment for you with an advisor. You will want to merge your accounts, and we want to help you do that.
We do. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. A few more questions here.
Thanks for being with us. This has been so fun to answer so many questions.
So many. Where do I find my GPA? Yeah, this is in the student portal, but it just shows the grades, right, Brooke? We were discussing this recently.
Yeah. So right now it just shows the grades. And so we are working to get the actual numbers on there so you can figure out. So for example, an A is a 4.0, a B is a 3.0, a C is a 2.0, so on and so forth. And so the team is working on being able to display the actual number for your GPA. It should be in there, but it's just not as easy to find. So I'm going to send a message to someone and see if they can give me direct instructions. The other thing that you can do is online, you can even Google a GPA calculator. And you can say, oh, I got an A and it was a 2-credit class. I got a B and it was a 3-credit class. And it will weight that out for you. So you can even just Google GPA calculator.
Awesome. Okay, we just have a couple more minutes. I have another appointment to run to. So we're going to try to answer a few more things here. So I'm confused with Pathway Connect 103 and entering the university in 7 weeks. Can you explain a little bit more about Pathway Connect 103?
Yeah, great question. So Pathway Connect 101 and 102 are 7 weeks each. Pathway Connect 103 is also 7 weeks. We were doing pilots around the world to make sure that a 7-week time frame was going to work. And so what will happen is for 7 weeks, you are going to do your gathering group. You're going to be participating in 103. So you're learning more about university skills and making that transition from Pathway Connect to BYU, Idaho, and Ensign College online. And you are taking your first university class. So you will be able to pick an introductory class toward your first certificate while you are still in Pathway Connect. So Pathway Connect 103 is really designed to prepare you for BYU, Idaho, and Ensign College online.
Awesome. Okay, so Natasha's a little frustrated about getting a hold of somebody. She said she's reached out a number of times. So that is not our department, so we can't like impact that. But what kind of advice or thoughts? I know that we've heard from Natasha before, Brooke, about trying to get some answers.
Yeah. So one, I am so sorry. That is so frustrating. One thing that you can do, there are some enrollment counselors that may or may not be able to help you depending on what your question is. If you feel comfortable, you can send us in the comments or you can send us a direct message and we can see if we can resolve the issue or if we can submit a ticket to try to help figure out what's going on. We are happy to try to help as much as we can. You can also go to BYUPathway.org/APPT and book an appointment with an enrollment counselor. So the enrollment counselor, depending on what your issue is, may or may not know the answer, but you can go to BYUPathway.org/APPT to book an appointment at a time that works well for you.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to try to go through the rest of these as quickly as we can. I have 3 classes for this semester, 1 for the first block, 2 for the second block. Would tuition for all 3 be due on the first week, or can I play them 1 block at a time?
That is a great question that I'm honestly not sure the answer. I believe that it is going to all be due on the first block because you've registered for those classes already. And so they are, it's tuition for the whole semester. So whether it's being taken during the first block or second block doesn't particularly matter.
Okay, I think this is our last Instagram question for now. Brooke, somebody's just wondering about studying in person. And so I'll let you kind of answer and address that real quick.
Yeah, so BYU Pathway is not designed, and we don't have scholarships to get folks to campus. So whatever university you're interested in studying on campus, you'll want to reach out to them and see what scholarships or tuition discounts or opportunities are available through that university. You're muted, Darby. But you can enroll in BYU Hawaii. So you're going to want to go to BYUH.edu, and you can learn more. So Kimberly, if you are from Asia, the Pacific, or the Philippines and have completed Pathway Connect, I would recommend that you Google BYU Hawaii BYU Pathway Partnership. There's a long URL that Darby has that she can put up, but it's admissions.byuh.edu/the-BYU-Hawaii-Pathway-partnership, which is a mouthful. So it might be easier to just Google BYU Hawaii and BYU Pathway Partnership. And on this webpage, there's more information about how to apply to BYU Hawaii after completing Pathway Connect.
Awesome. Okay. Here's another big one. I'd like to know about being in Ensign College to BYU Pathway Worldwide. Can I take project management, computer support, occupational safety, health certificates for the professional studies degree? As far as I know, it's kind of a choose your own adventure, like what you said, Brooke.
Yeah. So the professional studies degree is offered through BYU Idaho. And so I know you can take certificates from BYU Idaho and from Ensign College, but I don't know that specific setup. If you can take each of those certificates and then still receive a professional studies degree. So I would reach out to your mentor if you have one. If you don't, you can send us a direct message and we can do our best to try to get you an answer on that specific setup.
Okay. We have a couple questions in Spanish. I know that we have a Spanish live coming up are they doing that today, Brooke?
I haven't heard back, so I would say probably not.
Okay. They often do them on Wednesdays. I apologize. We can't answer those right now. we have just time for just a couple more questions before we need to jump off. How does the internship work when you study? So I don't know a lot about how it's set up.
Yeah. So, depending on what your degree is, part of what is required for graduation is an internship, which I have found to be incredibly valuable because it gives you real working experience in your degree. And it helps you make sure, like, yeah, this is what I really want to do. This has been a great experience. This has been fun, whatever. And so it's going to be toward the end of your program, typically between your junior and senior year. You'll do an internship. And so we're working to help support internships and help students find internships locally. And so we have some partnerships with Ensign College and BYU, Idaho, that BYU-Pathway is helping, making sure that our international students have access if we're working with companies that have offices around the world and doing our best to try to support that. So stay tuned. When it's time for you to do your internship, you'll get more information. You can find a program on your own. Oftentimes the career and advising team will be able to help support or let you know, hey, here's some potential opportunities in your area, but you'll still have to apply for those.
Perfect. I think we've got 3 more questions, Brooke.
Okay.
So we've got this one. How do I transfer my religion classes to BYU, Idaho?
So it's going to depend if they were taken through Institute, if they were taken through another CES school, if they were religion classes that were taken during Pathway Connect, those will just come with you. There's nothing that you need to do to transfer those. You can also go to byupathway.edu/admissions-transfer-credits to get more information. And then there's a link on there that you can use to reach out to support about your transfer credits.
Perfect. Okay, this is a pretty easy one. So BYU Pathway doesn't offer master's degrees, but the bachelor's degrees, you can apply to any master's program. And we know a lot of people who have done that.
Yep.
And I think this is probably the last question we'll have time for. Hey, I appreciate this. I have some questions that need answers. I registered for the first year and I dropped out. It's been 2 semesters and I'm struggling to get back. Okay, sounds like they were probably in BYU, Idaho at this time.
Yep. So we would love to help you get back. The first opportunity for you to return to classes is going to be in April. So the application process has already closed to start in January, unless you started an application. So today is the last day to finish an application for BYU Idaho or Ensign College Online. So if you have not done so already and you started an application, you still have time to get that finished and start next week. If you have not done that and you need to re-enroll or reapply, you'll have to wait until classes begin in April. And that the application period will open here in a few weeks. Darby and I will go live when it's ready and available to let you know. So just pay attention to our page. We'll do some posts and some lives because we would love to help you come back.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be doing more of these, we promise. Thank you for your questions. You can rewatch this easily on Facebook or YouTube. Those are the 2 easiest places to rewatch this. If you want to scroll through, you can see the questions pop up to see what question we're doing. For now, we'll end the live. Thank you all.
Thanks so much.
All right.